a place in our hearts. It's a pain only God can heal. We can only tell you how we feel. So here we are to praise you, God. I know they say time will heal our pain, but life will never be the same. We may not get another day, so for today we'll just have to pray. Sing to God and raise your voices now. Sing to God and fill the sky. Let your spirit praise your Maker now. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Elna Rifana la Elna Rifana lo 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 Spread over our loved ones and all those in need, your shelter of healing, a soak of peace. Elna Rifana la Elna Rifana lo Elna Rifana la Elna Rifana lo Rifaenu Adonai Venerafe. Send the gift of your healing to our homes, our neighbors, our loved ones, our family, our friends. Elna Rifana la Elna Rifana lo 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 Lord, hear our Elna Rifana la Lord, hear our prayer. Rifana lo Lord, hear our Elna Rifana la Lord, hear our Because Yaakov Mishnato Vayomer Achen Yesh Adonai Bamakom Hazeh ואנוכי לא ידעתי.
Behold, God is in this place. Behold, God is in this place. Behold,
If you think you want to live with me, grow with me, float down the river of life. Don't ask if you can swim upstream. I've already tried and I nearly died. Don't be afraid of change. Everybody's gotta let go of something. Don't be afraid of change. Take my hand. Sing a song along the hill country river, keep you warm when you start to shiver. Simple things I'm gonna do for you. I don't think twice to do it cause I want to. If you think you wanna ride with me, jump on a horse and outrun the future. You better learn to love the wind. Keep your hat when it changes direction. Don't be afraid of change. Everybody's gotta let go of something. Don't be afraid of change. Take my hand. Let go of your plans. Let go of your plans.
Welcome to Mincha Moments, the afternoon service here at Temple Israel for Yom Kippur. As you've seen already, we will have beautiful music inspired by the theme of our day performed during our service by our Zipser Foundation scholar in musician in residence, Aaron Markowitz, and his wife Ashley, as well as the beautiful keyboards of Tim Van Riper. They will be illuminating the themes that you'll be hearing throughout the course of the next hour or so. Now, this service was actually first conceived of as a replacement for the afternoon Mariv service on Yom Kippur. In the decades since its inception, it has become an inspiring and powerful part of our process of introspection and growth as a community. I hope that you will today find a little bit of inspiration and a bit of hope through the offerings of music and prose in the hour ahead. I want to share first, though, this essay which was penned by Emily Pearl Kingsley as she describes the reality of being a parent to a special needs child. I offer it now as a setting for today's service. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks, you make wonderful plans. The Colosseum, Michelangelo's David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. And several hours later, the plane lands. The flight attendant comes on the microphone and says, "Welcome to Holland." Holland, you say? What do you mean Holland? I bought a ticket to Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life, I've dreamed of going to Italy. But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out and buy new guidebooks. You must learn a whole new language. You'll meet a whole new group of people you would have never met. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there for a while and you catch your breath, you look around and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills and tulips and even Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy. They're bragging about a wonderful trip that they had there. And for the rest of your life, you will say, yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned. And the pain of that will never, ever, ever go away, because the loss of that dream is a very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland. So today, we are going to be learning about the Holland that exists right here in our community. We will hear the amazing stories of 4 people who are part of the Special Needs and Neuro-Divergent world. Each of them currently sits on our Belonging and Inclusivity Task Force here at Temple Israel. It is our design today that you might become their allies. Now, our first speaker needs little attention and needs little introduction. Art Dubin is a lifelong member of Temple Israel. Art is a fixture here as an usher at services and events. By his own description, he has Asperger's, he is a country music enthusiast, and he works at Pickles and Rye Deli. I am thrilled to introduce you to Country Art and the amazing story of his being different.
Hi, my name is Art Dubin, and some know me as Country Art for my love and deep knowledge of country music. In fact, I have visited Nashville and been to the Grand Ole Opry nearly 40 times. I also listen to its radio broadcast every week. If that's not commitment to something, I'm not sure what is. Before I share my story, Let me start by thanking Rabbi Josh and all the clergy and staff at Temple Israel for helping to create this wonderful service. It's an experience as unique as many of the people in this room. For all of you to enjoy a service with your loved ones, regardless of their extreme talents, or as some sadly see it, their limitations. My childhood began in 1969, not quite an era with a deep focus on diversity and inclusion. My parents, Howard and Susan Dubin, were the best I could have asked for. And little did they know at that time the passion and power they would have to help shape my future through their advocacy and involvement in helping me be my absolute best. As a child, I was very similar to others, yet different in so many ways. I grew up very close to my brother, grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. My family were, and in many cases still are, my closest friends. They all understand me, and I credit my parents with helping to educate everyone with who I am. Just another member of the family as important as everyone else. Matt and I could not have been more different from each other growing up. I collected baseball cards and loved television. Yes, I know a lot about old game shows and television shows. I'm available after Yom Kippur to answer any of your questions. Matt played hockey and was often out with his friends. Despite our differences, we shared something very important in common. We had parents who made sure we each got to pursue our different passions, talents, and interests growing up. That helped shape who we are today as individuals and as brothers who say I love you every time we end a phone call with each other. My parents were very aware of my abilities and differences from many other kids. They advocated for me to get the best possible services in school and summer camps. I had some of the best teachers in elementary school, many of whom I still keep in touch with, thanks to social media, and that they occasionally visit me at my job. My parents kept me in the public school system through elementary school, and in 6th grade is when I joined a new school called Adventure. There were about 11 students in the entire school, including me, when I started going there. It was exactly what I needed, a very small classroom where I could get the individualized learning I needed to succeed, and a friendly environment where I could make friends, and I stayed there through high school graduation. That tiny school in Birmingham, which was my launch pad to success, is now called Eaton Academy. I was in Eaton's very first graduating class. I'm a proud graduate who to this day attends their annual galas, and so proud of the amazing experience it gives kids of all different learning needs. To my parents, it probably felt like an experiment, but sometimes kids like me need to try something different to find their niche. And from there, I went on to pursue an associate's degree in culinary arts from Oakland Community College. And that helped me on my path to culinary success. If I may say so myself, I'm probably the best known and most successful restaurateur in this area who never actually owned a restaurant. And that works out just perfectly for me. I love cooking. It's been my passion for as long as I can remember. I have worked at many of the area's most popular restaurants. Some have been small, where I get to work on a variety of things, including taking time to say hello to many of the guests who I know. Aside from cooking, I also love being a host. At home and at work, it gives me great pleasure to see others enjoying my food. However, working in a restaurant isn't always easy for me. I have a real fear of sharp machinery, so I have to be extra careful. That fear, along with not having great confidence in my balance, can be a recipe for disaster. But I know my limits, and I make sure those I work with also know my limits. That's one way I advocate for myself, and remember my awesome parents? Even at my age of 54 years young, my dad still reminds me to speak up for myself at work. I have a lot of wonderful friends. They range from people I grew up with, friends I made at Temple, former teachers, and even people I have met around the country through my love of country music. Some of my friends have unique strengths, just like me, and others are just like many of you, normal as they say. The best part is that they all understand who I am and respect me for my strengths and unique qualities. But it's not always easy for me. I don't drive. My parents encouraged me to, when I was old enough to drive, but I genuinely did not enjoy it. So you could say that I chose that limitation. It does result in some challenges, but I make it work. I live close to my job and have wonderful friends and family who are always willing to help me get around. I love Temple Israel. My family and I joined the temple in 1978. It's always been a safe place for me to be myself. It's a community where everyone is included and a place where I feel right at home. I serve on many committees and I have led the ushers for about 25 years now. It's a responsibility I take seriously because I know the temple counts on me. I also play a very important role in organizing our annual activities to support those who rely on housing shelters. I don't do that for any recognition. I do it because I love helping others who are less fortunate. I play an important role here at Temple, and so can anyone in this room. So there you have it. That's my story in a nutshell. I hope you found this to be meaningful and inspiring, perhaps feeling a little hope. We all have challenges, and when you are surrounded by friends and family and a community like Temple Israel, you can accomplish whatever you dream of. I want to leave you with this thought. Being inclusive is not tolerating. It's unconditionally embracing and welcoming everyone, regardless of their abilities. By welcoming all of you into this service, you're now experiencing what it means to be inclusive. And doesn't it feel good? Thank you.
Something that's been broken.
face down, and I would lean all in. I would rather take that risk than never feel again. I want you to know that it's never been this easy for me to fall this hard. Something that's been broken has more room than the lighting shines brighter in the dark. It took all the shattered pieces and made abstract art of all the things that came together. You're my favorite part. I want you to know that it's never been this easy for me to fall this hard. Something that's been broken has more room than the lighting shines brighter in the dark. I took all the shattered pieces and made abstract art of all the things that came together. I took all the shattered pieces and made abstract art of all the things that came together. You're my favorite part.
I love that you're applauding both our speakers, our musicians. You don't know what to do in services, right? The answer is we can pray with any part of our bodies. Now, before we move on, though, I just want you to take a look at the name of that song, Abstract Art by Katie Peterson. It was chosen, actually, by our musicians as the song to use after Art spoke, and then we realized it's called Abstract Art. Art. I mean, that was perfect. You have to keep it up there for a minute. All right. Ella, come on up. Ella Fried is a 12th grade student at Walled Lake Central High School. She enjoys playing the trumpet and, by the way, the shofar as well. She loves storytelling on her forensics team, singing with our Teen Tefillah team here at Temple Israel, and she is also a student activist fighting for inclusion for all through ADL's No Place for Hate program. Please welcome her to the Mincha Moments Bima for our next presentation.
When I was in about 4th grade, the grade my little brother Brody's in right now, we found out that Brody was diagnosed with autism. And my friends used to ask me, "Are you sad that your little brother has autism?" And I would just think about the amazing person Brody is. I would picture his little smile and his playful laugh. In my mind, I would watch his curls bounce up and down. No, I'm not disappointed. Brody's just my brother. He is who he is. So when my friends asked this question, I would respond, I love watching Brody learn and grow. And that's still true today. I get excited when I see Brody reach milestones in reading or in answering a complex question. But that isn't all I love about Brody. His excitement, determination, and imagination are contagious. When Brody was little, it was hard for me to get him to play with me. But now, we play together and have the best conversations. Sometimes I come downstairs from doing my homework for a little break, and I say, "Hey Brody, how's school going so far?" And he responds, "Ella, I built an airport on the iPad that looks like bamboo and has green hand dryers and automatic toilets. Do you want to see it? So I hop on the couch next to him, and he gives me a tour of his creation. So I don't always get an answer to the question I asked, but when I listen to what Brody cares about, and I show him that I really care about it too, we build a strong connection and enjoy spending time with each other. Other times, Brody and I are just lying in my bed listening to some music, and Brody asks, "What would it be like to live for infinity years?" Just as the Jewish tradition teaches, Brody and I ask lots of questions, but sometimes Brody doesn't filter those questions. For example, Brody's current introduction when he meets new people is, "Hi, my name is Brody. Did you know I like hand dryers? Are you scared of automatic toilets? I am. How old are you?" Even so, Brody's curious, imaginative nature makes playing with him a lot more fun. I love playing with Brody, but sometimes other kids don't always know how to interact with him, and it's hard for me to watch Brody playing by himself, even if he doesn't really mind it. On the other hand, if you're someone who gets Brody, he really likes you and wants to spend a lot of time with you. Sometimes kids his age get frustrated when he does want to play because they want more space, or because Brody wants to play his way or doesn't understand a social rule. That's hard for me to watch too, because I have the best time playing with Brody, and I sometimes wish that other kids could have that experience with Brody too, and Brody could have that experience with them. When my friends come over, I often feel like I need to tell them that Brody has autism, to explain his behavior and why he's jumping up and down or asking lots of questions, which are sometimes inappropriate. But to me, Brody's just Brody. And a big part of Brody is that he loves music. I mean, what's not to love? Suspicious Minds is constantly blaring on the Alexa at our house. And I can sometimes hear Payphone, Brody singing Payphone, coming from his bedroom when he's supposed to be asleep. And if we're lucky, it's the clean version. And I think we all know that feeling when we're trying to think of a song, but we can't exactly place what the lyrics are or how it goes. Brody knows that feeling especially well. And when he gets frustrated, sometimes that's all he can focus on. So one time, Brody and I were sitting together, and Brody sang this melody for me. Dun 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 dun. "Ella, what's the name of that song?" he asked. I tried a million ways to figure it out. Google searches, playing it on the keyboard. I even downloaded a song guessing app, but no luck. Brody just sat there on the couch, his sad eyes staring into the distance as they filled with tears. Eventually, our dad came home and saved the day. The song was "I Go to Extremes" by Billy Joel. Seeing Brody's face light up when he got Alexa to play the song was priceless. When he gets excited about a song, you can't help but smile and dance along with him. The way he shamelessly jumps up and down when he hears a song brings other people to their feet, literally. At the Play and Pray Shabbat this summer, Brody started dancing to the music, and all of a sudden, so did the other kids. While Brody's determination and fixations can get him far, it sometimes also means that we spend a lot of time on something that I wouldn't have otherwise chosen to do. For example, one night in Chicago, we were planning on spending some time at the Navy Pier, but Brody thought he saw a snow cone and just had to have one. So we walked around Chicago, and we walked some more, but no snow cone. Finally, we came across a 7-Eleven and convinced Brody that a Slurpee was close enough. But when we got inside, guess what? The Slurpee machine was broken. Yeah. So, eventually, luckily, Brody did get his Slurpee, and we were able to go to sleep that night. But before then, Brody was convinced that Chicago was a terrible place. But it redeemed itself, luckily. So, sometimes it's hard to watch Brody becoming so fixated on something he wants, or to see him playing by himself. But I don't know what my life would be like without all of the joy that Brody brings into it. From his fascination with numbers to his excitement about music. And I would know a lot less about hand dryers. So, am I sad that Brody has autism? Or do I love him despite his autism? Neither. I love Brody because of his passion, his wonder, his autism, his determination, his creativity, and so much more. I love those moments when we're lying in bed talking about infinity, and I love jumping up and down with Brody to his favorite songs. I love all of who Brody is, and I'm so lucky that he is my brother.
All this pain, I wonder if I'll ever find my way. I wonder if my life could really change at all. All this earth, could all that is lost ever be found? Could a garden come up from this cloud at all? You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. Out of us. All around, hope is springing up from this old
Iridian Dempsey, let me start again so you can hear. Iridian Dempsey is a social work student at Eastern Michigan University and an active Temple Israel member. In addition to tutoring and teaching Sunday school here at Temple, Iridian also serves as a member on some of our task forces and is a lover of all things Jewish. You have likely seen them attending weekly Shabbat services along with their service dog, Woody, and their much less impressive husband, James. They wrote the introduction. I didn't do it.
I have to say that it was James that told me to write that, so it's not me. So hi, I'm Iridian, and I'm autistic. If you know me at all, you know I don't usually introduce myself as autistic. In fact, you might not have known that I have autism, but here I am telling you all just that. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 14, but when I look back to my younger years, I see autism throughout. For instance, when I was 4, I had my first school picture. It's on the screens. When that picture came home, I cried and cried and cried. Why? Because I had lost my front tooth 2 years before, which meant that my teeth weren't symmetrical. Photoshop played a big role in our house growing up, so that I didn't cry every time I saw that lack of symmetry. I have to say, it takes a lot for me to be honest about autism, and inside, I'm cowering at the fact that I'm being so public about it. That's not because I think having autism is a bad thing. It's because I've learned over the years that being publicly known as autistic and displaying so-called autistic traits harms me more than it helps me. So I've learned to keep autism private and mask many of my autistic traits. Now, masking is a skill that more of us autistic folks have than you might know, but it's not necessarily a good thing. For me, masking is exhausting, and I'll tell you why. The world is hard for me to navigate because of my senses. Smell, hearing, sight, and touch are all heightened. I hear all the background noise and can't filter it out. Too much visual input makes my head pound. Clothing tags and seams are painful, and strong smells burn my nose. To cope with all that, when I'm out and about, I desperately want to shut my eyes, cover my ears, put on my headphones, pinch my nose, and wear more comfortable clothing when formal wear is required. But I feel unable to because of the social consequences. I'd be seen as rude, and I'd lose opportunities and connections. Some folks cope by stimming, engaging in repetitive actions like spinning or fidgeting to help themselves soothe and regulate. I used to stim too, but then kids at school made fun of me for rocking back and forth, and I ultimately had a meltdown and had to be driven home by a teacher. So, how do I cope? Honestly, I feel like a bottle of fizzy drink. I screw on the lid really tight before I head out, then each time I encounter something that is unpleasant, the bottle is shaken and the pressure builds. Unless I can get to a safe place, the pressure keeps building until the bottle can't hold it anymore, resulting in a meltdown. If I'm lucky, I get home before this happens. So yes, it is exhausting. At this point, you might be thinking, aren't you just very sensitive to things? You can speak fine, you don't look autistic, you act normal. But here's the other thing I want to emphasize. Autism is a multidimensional spectrum with an emphasis on multidimensional. It is most definitely not a line from more or less autistic. Therefore, one person is not more or less autistic due to the presence or absence of certain characteristics. I love the diagram that you see on the screens because it sums it up better than I ever could. The colourful wheels are a way of showing how autism presents itself in different people. My wheel would probably look like this. I have the most challenges with social interactions, making eye contact, having conversations, and making friends. I also struggle with repetitions and inflexibility. I'm pretty much everywhere I need to be an hour before I need to be there. I consider being on time late, and when my schedule changes or is uncertain, my world feels like it's spinning out of control. My emotional regulation is also off the charts, which means that I feel other people's feelings very intensely, and I have intense emotional responses to perceived rejection. Autism alone generally comes with executive functioning challenges, but I also have ADHD, which adds to these challenges. So my executive functioning is terrible. Without checklists, I don't get things done, and without breaking tasks down, things don't get done either. Now, I want you to think of someone else who is autistic. Think about what their wheel would look like. I'm guessing it isn't identical to mine. So, I have autism, and I touched on the fact that I have ADHD too. And the truth is that autistic people generally have a lot of other disorders and disabilities that affect them too. Having autism significantly increases your chances of experiencing... Oh, I think I've skipped some lines. Oh, yeah, I did. I'm going to circle back. Two really common ones are anxiety and depression, both of which I also have. It's likely that some of this is genetic, but it's also clear to me that a lot of this is environmental. Having autism significantly increases your chances of experiencing bullying while growing up. Bullying causes trauma, and that trauma shapes the way you view yourself and the way you view the world. Bullying can make the world feel less safe. It can make you feel like you're worthless, and it can sometimes even make the world seem like it would be better without you in it. Add to that society isn't designed for autistic people to exist in their most comfortable state, that there's so much unpredictability, and that society expects you to behave and be just like all the normal people, and you can see why something like depression or anxiety might impact an autistic person's life. Now, I'm sure my time is running out, so I want to reiterate a few key things. First of all, autism isn't one size fits all, and the spectrum certainly isn't linear. We're not all savants, obsessed with trains, good at maths, or emotionless. We're not high-functioning or low-functioning. We are multidimensional people with varying needs and life experiences. Sensory struggles can be really difficult for many people with autism, and some of us stim to self-regulate, while others mask. If you see someone doing something you consider odd, like rocking, flapping, spinning, or anything else for that matter, don't make a big deal out of it, don't try to stop it, and don't stare. Our lives really are not tragedies, and we have so much potential to succeed with the right support. You can be that support. Be a friend, teach your kids and grandkids how to be friends. Be patient, be understanding, be a voice when we need one, and advocate for changes in your community to make it more accessible for people with autism. At the heart of it, what I hope you take away from this is that autistic people are humans too and deserve to be treated with the same dignity and respect as any other human being on this earth. They deserve to be seen not merely within the confines of their autism diagnosis, and they deserve to be given opportunities to succeed too. Thank you.
I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. Perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. מפליא לעשות.
We're going to have a moment of Jewish prayer in the midst of this before our next speaker comes forward, because as you know, Yom Kippur is a day when we turn to God and ask for forgiveness and ask for a bit of insight as we move to the next year. And Avinu Malkeinu has become one of those iconic prayers that helps us identify with that God who will lead us as a parent through life. So I'm going to invite you to rise now as we continue with Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'anenu, Ke'en banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu v'anenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu v'anenu, Ki ein banu ma'asim.
Our final speaker for Mincha Moments today is Josh Jacobs, who is married to his incredible wife, Jody, and they have two beautiful girls, Marnie, 18 years old, and Allie, age 16. Josh is a real estate professional, attorney, board member of two nonprofit organizations, Friendship Circle and JARC. He enjoys living in the moment and creating memories with his family and his friends, and he will share with us now the story of his life being a father and a husband.
I just want to say what a service, and I have real respect for our three prior speakers. It takes a lot of courage for them to get up here and share their stories, and it was truly an honor to listen to them. So congratulations, and thank you for sharing. Good afternoon. Today I am here to share with you a deeply personal and heartfelt reflection on what it means to have a daughter with special needs. This is a topic that is profoundly new. I would have to rein it in a little bit. It's easy when you practice at home. This is This is a topic that has profoundly impacted my life and the lives of countless others who navigate the unique challenges and joys that come with raising a child. A child with special needs. As some of you I know can relate in this room. First and foremost, I cannot begin to tell you our story without going back to the very beginning of what it felt like to become a father. This began a little over 18 years ago when I was a young 29 years of age. Everything went smoothly, and we were ecstatic to welcome our first child, Marnie, on July 25th, 2005. Over the next 2 years, I remember thinking how easy parenthood is. I absolutely loved being a dad, and at that time, I was so naive. I had no idea how fragile life really is and what the miracle of life really meant. We had a beautiful daughter, and we were ready to welcome our second child. On May 22nd, 2007, we welcomed Allie. I can still visualize both births, and while uniquely the same with no complications, I remember feeling that something was off the day Allie was born. She was happy and smiling, although she was eerily quiet that day. The first 4 months after Allie was born flew by. We had so much fun enjoying our lives and felt our family was complete. We had no idea what was in store in the coming days, months, or years. I'll never forget the day that Allie had her first seizure. She was only 4 months old, and time stood still. She was making an awkward jackknife-type movement that stiffened up her body. She did this multiple times in mere minutes. We called doctors and rushed her to the emergency room, only to be turned away. We called the doctor friend in Montreal, who told us to videotape the incident and send it to her. She told us we had to take immediate action. The next day, we were off to Ann Arbor, where they taped wires to Allie's body and told us our baby had a horrible seizure disorder called infantile spasm syndrome, also known as West syndrome. Thanks. She's the strong one in the family. The doctor told us our baby may never walk, talk, or function as a normal person, that we should prepare ourselves for a life of difficulty. This was devastating news. I don't remember the drive home from Ann Arbor that afternoon, just feeling helpless. This was the first time I felt like that stewardess welcomed us to Holland. My reaction was denial, and I was wondering where the connecting flight back to Italy was. I let my own insecurities get in the way, and I didn't want to use the word spasm when describing Allie's issues. I didn't want anyone putting labels on her. Little did I know at the time, labels can be the keys to unlocking resources and services that Allie so desperately needed. From this point forward, our lives became consumed with doctor appointments, medicine trials, therapy appointments, phone calls, and fighting with insurance companies, all while trying to give Marnie the attention she so deserved. We had to make agonizing decisions about our baby, which included whether we put her on a drug that would stop the seizures, but at the expense of her growth. One example of this was deciding to put Allie in a very strong drug that was only sold in Canada, as it was not FDA approved. I would make monthly trips across the border, paying cash from savings I didn't have to purchase this life-saving medicine. This was our flight back to Italy, or so I thought. This did stop the seizures and preserved her brain from further damage. Unfortunately, it also took the life out of her, and she just existed for the next year or so, not doing much of anything. The next 14 years have been a whirlwind as parents, and we often find ourselves at a path less traveled, navigating through a maze of medical appointments, therapy sessions, and educational assessments. It can be exhausting and overwhelming at times. However, it's also a journey that allows us to form deep connections with a community of parents who understand the unique experiences and emotions that come with raising a child with special needs. These bonds are a source of strength and support, and they remind us that we are not alone in this journey. From that point, it's important to acknowledge that having a daughter with special needs is not a burden but a blessing, albeit one that comes with its own set of trials and tribulations. Every child, regardless of their abilities or disabilities, brings a unique and beautiful presence into our lives. They have the power to teach us invaluable lessons about love, patience, and resilience. Over the years, people tend to tell us that they don't know how we do it. And while I don't have the exact answer, and I often ask myself the same question, I have a two-part response. The first part is, we do it because we don't have a choice. Most parents would do anything for their child, regardless of whether they have a disability, and this is the same for us. We strive to give Allie the best life within her own ability. We make mistakes. Sometimes we overreach and we overreact, but we always have her best interest in mind. It can be heartbreaking and lonely at times, but that doesn't change our commitment to her. The second part of the answer is that we're very fortunate to have a large village. Jody and I feel so grateful to be in this together with Marnie, along with the girls' grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, caregivers, and teachers. They are there to help pick us up when we are down. Allie has taught us to appreciate the small victories and celebrate every milestone, no matter how seemingly insignificant they may be to others, whether it's a first word spoken, a step taken, a simple smile, or completing a lap in a pool. These moments are precious and fill our hearts with joy. Furthermore, having a daughter with special needs has opened our eyes to the importance of inclusion and acceptance in our society. We have learned that every individual, regardless of their abilities, has inherent worth and deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. It's a lesson that we strive to impart on both our daughters, as well as to others who may not fully understand the beauty of inclusion. We appreciate organizations like Friendship Circle and JARC and our community here at Temple Israel who understand this and do the hard work to make sure families like ours will not be alone today or in the future. As a society, let us continue to work towards a world that embraces and celebrates the uniqueness of every individual, regardless of their abilities or disabilities. Let's foster a culture of inclusion and acceptance so that all children, like our Allie, can thrive and shine brightly in their own unique way. Allie's presence has enriched our lives in ways we could never have imagined. It has taught us the true meaning of love, resilience, and acceptance. And while the journey may be challenging, it's also filled with moments of immense joy and pride. Our daughter is a precious gift, and we're grateful for the opportunity to be her parents. And while we'll always mourn the fact that we didn't get to go to Italy, and that will never go away, we will continue to smell the tulips
that are in front of us in Holland.
Thank you.
We've all got a life to live. We all got a gift to give. Just open your heart, let it out. We all got a piece to bring. We all got a song to sing. Just open your heart and let it out. Yeah, as I reach out to you and you to me. Let's tell them hello. We become to tell them Elohim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We praise our hopes and our dreams. Let's tell them hello. One of us can tell them Elohim. We all got a tale to tell. We all got to speak it well. Open your heart and let it out. We all got something to find. All got you. Just open your heart and let it out. Yes, I reach out to you and you to me. Let's tell them Elohim. We become to tell them Elohim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When we share our hopes and our dreams. Let's tell them Elohim. Each one of us, but tell them Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. Bereshit bara Elohim. All our hopes, all our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim. All our hopes, all our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim. All our dreams. Bereshit bara Elohim. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah. As I reach out to you and you to me, B'Tselem Elohim. We become B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When we share our hopes and our dreams, B'Tselem Elohim. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each one of us B'Tselem Elohim.
So you guys just stick around right here. Just stay right there. Just a big thank you to our musicians, Aaron and Ashley Markovitz, Tim Van Riper. A huge thank you to our four presenters, Josh Jacobs, Ari Dempsey, Ella Freed, and Art Dubin. And because I know that many of you are here not only to see this service, but also to get seats in our final service, I will be quick. We're almost done here. I have a very exciting announcement that I get to make. In talking about this service and talking about the theme that we've taken on with our Rosh Hashanah B'Tselem Elohim Special Needs service, and now this service dedicated to the special needs community, I was having a conversation with a friend who informed me and got permission for me to share this news. Hebrew Free Loan, for the first time ever, is now providing no-interest PIT loans for up to $10,000 to help qualifying Jewish families in our community care for a loved one who has autism or any type of physical, mental health, or related challenge. The loans are able to be used to pay for paraprofessionals, technology like computers, iPads, durable medical equipment, home modifications, treatment programs, and other services in caring for those who have developmental, cognitive, mental, and physical disabilities. So please just check out the Hebrew Free Loans website and know that we are all allies to this amazing community. You being here today is changing our world because we are all created, B'Tselem Elohim, in God's image. May all of us be sealed in the book of life for a beautiful year to come. Shana Tova.